From the Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State University in State College, Pennsylvania, welcome to today's game between the Penn State Nittany Lions and the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. Hello everyone, I'm Frank Gardenia, and today Penn State is unbeaten at 4-0 coming into this contest. Lehigh is 3-2. For Lehigh, that's a great deal of improvement from last year when they won only one game. Their head coach Sal Mendesano talks about his goals for today's game.
If we can come out here today and create our tempo, if we can be somewhat successful in getting some turnovers, if we can run our offense and get some good shots, I think that will give us quite a bit of confidence when we play in our league. If you can do those things against the Big Ten team, regardless of the outcome of the game.
Working with me today, former Penn State head coach Bruce Parkhill. And Bruce, Sal Mendesano has a junior that he's counting on for some good numbers today.
Hey, Brett Eppleheimer can flat out play. He's bringing in 27 points a game, Frank. He can score with great range. He can put the ball on the floor and make tough shots. It's really going to be a fun matchup today between Brett and Penn State's backcourt.
And the Nittany Lions have a junior also in Jared Stevens, who's putting up some outstanding numbers as well.
How about Jared Stevens? Averaging 15 points a game, 72% from the floor. That's scorching. He can score inside, and he's got some hops. He complements Danny Earl and Pete Lisicki really well.
Those numbers are outstanding, and you see the field goal percentage that Bruce alluded to. When we return, Bruce Parkhill will have a visit with the head coach of the Nittany Lions, Jerry Dunn.
This flight will begin boarding momentarily.
Paging Mr. Wright. Paging Mr. Wright. 2 is oversold.
Flight delay.
Would you like to speak to my supervisor?
This flight has been delayed. We have no further information.
If Orville and Wilbur had to go through what you do just to fly,
Ladies and gentlemen,
they never would have gotten off the ground.
the flight to Kitty Hawk has been canceled.
Isn't it time an airline started heading in a different direction? United Airlines, rising.
Backed by popular demand, it's the original Miracle Eraser. This powerful paint, varnish, and rust stripper races through any job so fast you won't believe your eyes. See how it actually erases old paint as if it were chalk, wipes away old varnish as if it were dust, leaving the surface smooth as glass and ready to refinish. And Miracle Eraser makes short work of rust like this. The varnish on this wood must be 30 years old. On the left, ordinary sandpaper. On the right, Miracle Eraser. Just look at the incredible speed and ease. Miracle Eraser molds itself to the shape of fancy woodwork, easily stripping clean every corner and crevice. Don't throw that away. Imagine from this before to this after in just minutes with Miracle Eraser. From boats to bricks, tools to antiques, furniture, and more. Guaranteed to strip paint, varnish, and rust faster and easier than anything you've ever used, or your money back. Call toll-free now to get not one, but 6 giant Miracle Erasers. Now for only $14.95. Order Miracle Eraser now.
Are you ready for soccer on the wild side? This Saturday night, see the high-scoring, hard-charging Philadelphia Kicks light up the Core State spectrum, led by homegrown superstars Matt Knowles and Don DeAmbra. The nonstop action of Kevin Sloan and the enforcer, Ally Walton. Be a part of the best value in Philadelphia sports, the $49 family package, the special birthday bash, and more. Tickets available at the Core State Center, Ticketmaster, and Zany Brainy stores, or by calling the Kicks at 1-888-888-KICKS. Soccer on the wild side. Be there.
Jerry, you're a wily old veteran now with 2 years under your belt. Can you reflect for us a little bit on your first 2 years?
Yes, Bruce. I think I've really experienced both ends of the spectrum. My first year, really, just about everything that you can imagine went right for us as a team and as a coaching staff. In the second year, with all the injuries, we experienced some very difficult times. But I really think that both experiences have really made me a better coach.
Well, I think that can certainly be the case. You know, it gives you a chance to experience both feelings, and coaching really does present a lot of highs and lows. How about this season? What are your expectations going into this year?
Well, this year for us, I'm looking to really get back into the big picture in the Big Ten. We want to get back into the top echelon of the league. We want to give ourselves to compete for a Big Ten championship, as well as go back to the NCAA tournament. We have some veteran guards, and I think anytime you have veteran guards, you really give yourself an opportunity to do some good things.
Yeah, I think that's really true. That's where the game starts, out there in the backcourt. And certainly we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Danny Earl's return and how that presents a positive outlook on this year.
Well, there's no question Danny Earl's return makes a big difference in this team in terms of his confidence, also in terms of the poise that any team will have to have going down the stretch, especially in the tighter games. And it's real nice to have him back.
Well, I agree with you, and we wish you the best. We'll be back with starting lineups right after this.
Today's game is brought to you by the Gatorade Rock and Roll Shootout on December 27th, where the best in college basketball rock the Gund Arena in Cleveland.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Jack Nicklaus's personal technique that helps straighten slices.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Dave Peltz's revolutionary technique that has top pros putting better. Let Golf Magazine show you how to shoot lower, play better, or you don't pay. That's the Golf Magazine guarantee. Call now for your free issue of Golf Magazine. If you decide to subscribe, get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for just $17.97. Plus, get your free Golf Magazine umbrella. Call now.
Before Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet, games were shrouded in mystery. Once regulation time expired, the hows and whys of the playbooks were kept in the dark, out of reach of the everyday viewer.
Now, thanks to Sports Night, the dark ages of Philadelphia sports television are over. Neil Hartman, Leslie Goodell, Michael Barkan, Derek Gunn, Pat Boyle, and Dee Lynham solve the whodunits and who said it, involving everyone from the local colleges and minor leagues to the Flyers, Sixers, Eagles, Phillies, and other national sports action. Live analysis, interviews, commentaries, and highlights 7 days a week means that if you didn't see it on Sports Night, it didn't happen. Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet. It's what you want to watch.
Relive Philadelphia's championship tradition on Comcast Sportsnet Classics, where unforgettable teams and players rise in triumph and shine in defeat. Comcast Sportsnet Classics, Philadelphia sports the way you remember them.
Welcome back to the Bryce Jordan Center, where the Penn State Nittany Lions taking on the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. And let's check out the starting lineups. First for Lehigh, Brett Eppheimer is the guy who does the bulk of the scoring, averaging almost 27 points a game. And for the Nittany Lions, there's Coach Sal Minasano, the head coach at Lehigh. Their record very deceiving. Only one win a year ago. They're very much in a rebuilding situation. And the Nittany Lions starters, Booth, Stevenson, Stevens, Lasicki, and Earl. And head coach Jerry Dunn in his third year. Jerry's record 35-24 as the head coach of the Nittany Lions. Bruce, so when you look at this game, there are certain keys for both these teams here today.
Well, there certainly are, Frank, and from Lehigh's perspective, they need to hit open shots. They're probably not going to get a whole lot of open shots, and they need to cash in on the ones that they do get. They can't give up real easy shots in great numbers to Penn State. They're going to press, and sometimes Penn State's going to attack, and they may give up few, but not too many. They have to do a great job on the defensive boards, and their style of play is to force turnovers, so they certainly have to try to do that, even against a veteran backcourt in Penn State's.
And the Nittany Lions also have certain things that they must do as well.
Well, they have to make good decisions against the press. You know, they have to know when to attack and do so, and they have to know when to pull it back out and run their half-court offense. They have to establish an inside game because of their superior size and strength. They have to dominate the boards at both ends of the floor, and they have to play good transition defense because Lehigh likes to get it up and put it up quickly.
There's a good look at Pete Lasicki, who's from the Lehigh Valley. Played at Whitehall High School in the Allentown and Bethlehem area.
Playing against his own boys.
And the Nittany Lions control the tap. This is a very young Lehigh team. Bruce, only 1 senior, 2 juniors, 6 sophomores, 7 freshmen on their roster.
Well, Sal has one of the youngest teams in the country. There's no question about it. But I think people will like what Sal's going to do with this program.
And a pass from Stevenson to Booth goes out of bounds, and Lehigh will have the ball. This is Tawan Hawkins, a 6'1 freshman, one of the many youngsters on this Lehigh team with the ball. To Jared Hess, this is Eppheimer. Eppheimer, a lot of attention from Stevenson. Inside they go to Fido Wilibiro.
Lehigh really hasn't gotten a lot of production point-wise from the inside players. Their offense really isn't geared to go inside too much. Those guys have to get their points off of stickbacks and rebound opportunities.
Danny Earl with the Penn State rebound. Stevenson. Looking for Stevens. Now he finds him. Lesicky is open from the top of the circle.
He was wide open. Lehigh cannot give him that good a look off that down screen.
Against Booth, Wilibiro has his shot blocked.
You know, I like that move, though. Lehigh's going inside. They're trying to be aggressive. Traditionally, they have lived by the jump shot and died by the jump shot when they're not hitting. So I think that's a good look to at least see what Penn State's going to do when they throw the ball inside.
Earl to Stevens. Get it. Stevens' son tried to feed it back to Stevens. Eppheimer with it the other way. Eppheimer on Lesicky, and Lesicky fouls it.
That's his game. He can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot off balance. I really like this guy. He's a tough kid, and he can make tough shots.
Fred Eppheimer, an interesting story. Youngster from Pottstown on the drive here.
See how he leans in to the defense, tries to get the defense to commit, and then takes a shot opportunity to draw the foul.
He played his high school ball in Pottstown. Went to prep school for a year at the Hill School, and really was not recruited out of high school. Coach Minnesota saying when he was at East Stroudsburg, they really weren't that interested. But he has made himself into a Division I player.
He sure has, and I'll tell you one thing he's done, Frank, is he's gotten on the weights and made himself a lot stronger, even from last year. He and his coaches knew that he was going to draw a lot of attention from defenses this year. They were going to be more physical with him because he scored so many points last year, and he has really worked hard in the weight room, and that's really going to help him.
Penn State very cold early. The Nittany Lions down by 2. We have a foul away from the ball on Lehigh. I think it's on Hess. That'll be the first on Jared Hess.
Let's see if Lehigh really extends their defense or if they play more of a passive containment press. This is more of a three-quarter court containment press, and now Penn State has to force the action a little bit to make something happen, and they did a nice job.
Well, that's forcing it and flushing it. Jared Stevens on the other end from Pete Lesicky. Lehigh would like to play an up-tempo pressing style of game. They are trying to get ready for their Patriot League season later in the year. And Booth with another block, his second of the game. Here's Earl on the run, and he's fouled.
It was a good job by Danny Earl that time to turn the corner and draw the defense. Looks like he's down. I hope he isn't hurt.
Foul is on to Hawkins, his first, 2 for Lehigh.
Well, that is not something that Jerry Dunn and the Penn State fans want to see.
You're not lying, buddy. He may have twisted his ankle. I know when he turned the corner against the defender, it looked like he might have stepped on his foot.
Left or right?
I sure hope it isn't his back.
I think everyone in the Big Ten is glad to see this guy back, and every coach in the conference appreciates, what this guy means to the league, and there's no one that wants to see Danny Earl get hurt.
Well, that's true, and he adds so much to Penn State's program and to the league, as you mentioned. And hey, he's an all-league player, and with Danny back now, Penn State has an all-league backcourt potentially. Here, see, Danny turns the corner to split the defense, and it looks like he twists his ankle, doesn't it?
There's something with the leg that they continue to work on. Danny, as most fans may know, set out last year with some back problems. We'll take a break here with a score tied early at 2. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
4 hours of football down the drain.
Nothing to watch now.
Wait a minute. What's all this lying around stuff?
What are we supposed to do?
What happened to the Comcast Sportsnet staff I used to know?
Game's over, man.
Game's over? Was it over when the Cowboys fumbled in a miracle at the Meadowlands?
Cowboys?
Let him go, he's on a roll.
We have the greatest opportunity of our lives. we can provide Eagle fans with the most intense post-game coverage ever. And all you guys want to do is just sit around and lie around. You say, no, Neil, we might get in trouble. Well, not me. The minute all these games are done, I'm going to provide interviews, live, post-game analysis and commentary, live.
Neil's right. This calls for an incredibly sharp, intelligent effort on somebody's part, and we're just the channel to do it.
Are you guys with me? Let's do it!
Post-game live on Comcast Sportsnet, where the only thing better than watching Eagles football is talking Eagles football. If it's inside information on the Eagles you want, he's your coach. Catch Coach Ray Rhodes with his no-holds-barred comments during his weekly press conference on Crossroads, Tuesday night at 7:30.
Welcome back to Penn State's Jordan Center. Our score is tied. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkhill with you. But the big concern for Penn State is the physical status of Dan Earl, who was injured on this play.
Frank, it looks like he twists his knee a little bit. When Margot Patukian, our team doctor, and John Smith were taking him off the floor, he grabbed his knee and he got off on his own power, which was encouraging, but they took him back into the locker room to further examine him.
So obviously some concern for Jerry Dunn when you see your fifth-year veteran point guard go down. And as Bruce mentioned, he was walking somewhat gingerly off the floor, but he did walk off. And Joe Crispin now, coming in cold, will have to shoot two.
Well, the one plus this year, Penn State has some quality depth in the backcourt. You know, Graves and Crispin have looked good in the preseason. They're both heady players, have good skills, and provide Penn State with some pretty talented kids, even though they're young. This will be a good experience for them.
So Dan Earl would have been shooting two, but Crispin steps in his place and hits one of the two. It's not easy to step in right off the bench and go to the free throw line.
Oh, that's tough.
Eppheimer missing, McGill with a follow, and Booth clears it. Now look at Booth run the floor to Lasicki.
Maybe Booth's going to play the point guard instead of Crispin.
Calvin says, hey, I'll run the point. And here's Stevens. 4 points for Stevens. The Nittany Lions by 3. Calvin can shake and bake a little out in the middle.
Yeah, he loves to do that, too.
McGill inside gets the bucket. Damian McGill, youngster from Pittsburgh, who played at Shadyside Academy. Lehigh within one. Penn State with the ball.
Boy. Stevens had Jared Stevens wide open inside. Didn't get in the ball. It's a nice look there.
Greg Stevenson has been very productive for the Nittany Lions this year. Has his first bucket of the game. He's averaging over 9 points a game. McGill over Booth. Nice little right-handed jump hook.
They continue to go inside and attack the big fella.
Another foul in the backcourt is Lehigh with the press. And I think it is McGill who picked up the first one.
It's his first 3 and 4.
Now, that's not really the kind of foul that Sal Minnesota wants. He just wants the ball to be pressured, make him make a mistake or throw it away, but don't bail out the defense by fouling 75 feet from the basket.
Scott Wachowski, the 7-foot freshman, is in now for Penn State, replacing Calvin Booth. Lehigh bringing in Peter DeLay, 6'6" sophomore. This is Crispin, the freshman from Pittman, New Jersey. On the drive, Stevenson to Wachowski, and he scores and is fouled.
Boy, that was a really nice dump-off pass.
Well, you get your new freshman post guy in the game, and it's good to get him going with a bucket early.
Well, Greg Stevenson penetrated the defense, drew some help, and dumped it off to Big Scott. Big Scott finished.
And to the free throw line he goes for the first time in his collegiate career, and no problem, he says. Nittany Lions by 4. Eppheimer averages, as we mentioned, over 26 points a game. Lasicki with a steal on Fry. Lasicki on the drive. Got it.
Nice finish. Penn State has Greg Stevenson on Eppenheimer. I think that's a good idea. You know, have a 6'5" player on Eppenheimer. He's only about 6 feet. The only problem Greg might have is Eppenheimer putting it on the floor and getting by him. But I think it's a good thing to experiment with, to put a bigger player on a smaller guard. And Penn State will switch their 1, 2, and 3 men defensively, so they'll have different matchups.
And Lasicki's playing him now defensively. Now Crispin is guarding him. This is Eppenheimer deep on the far side. Michael Fry tried to drive, dishing to DeLay. Wachowski blocks it, but picks up the foul.
Peter DeLay had Sherman's disease in high school, Frank, and he was actually paralyzed for about a week and a half and missed 3 to 6 months of school in bed and missed a year and a half of high school hoops. As a sophomore, he was one of the better players in New England. And I don't think, if I'm mistaken, I don't think he practiced the last day or two. So he still has some problems with his back. The Sherman's disease evidently affects your back.
DeLay shooting hits the first one, and you know, when you hear about that and you look at this youngster playing, it's just, you're just glad to see him out there playing. And the second shot is good as well.
Shows a nice touch from the line. Now Lehigh is in a full extended press here, where they're trying to be more aggressive in forcing a turnover.
Well, and Penn State with 2 freshmen on the floor, in Wachowski and Crispin. This is Crispin. And Lasicki could not hang on, and DeLay will chase it down.
Yeah, Joe found Pete just a little bit too late that time. Pete was open when he came off the cut.
Lehigh a chance to cut it to 2. Crispin will clear it away after the miss by Hawkins.
In another year, Hawkins is going to make that shot. You know, he's a freshman. He's not as strong as some of the other players he's playing against. But he's going to be a nice player.
Wachowski calling for the ball inside. Power move is good.
Big fella wanted it. Big fella got it.
He actually wanted it a few seconds earlier. He was wide open. Stevenson didn't see him, and that time he called for it again. He's a confident player.
Well, if he keeps making moves like that, he'll get the ball more often in there.
5 points for the freshman. On the drive, the shot is no good by Bobby Willis.
And another nice move to the basket by a freshman. Just didn't finish it. Bobby's father was a great player at Penn when they went to the Final Four.
Here's Stevens, and you cannot stop Jared Stevens with that move. He has 6 points. Penn State has doubled the score now. Willie Biro's pass was tipped away by Lasicki with a good defensive play. Here come the Nittany Lions on the move. Stevenson is wide open. Hawkins now works it down for Lehigh. Well, Oklahoma State had Big Country a few years ago. Wachowski kind of looks like Big Country when he was a youngster.
Well, he's going to get a lot bigger, too. I guarantee you. He's got a good frame.
Another rebound for the big guy. Lasicki on the other end nails it. 5 points for Pete.
3 points for Pete.
Now that time, Coach Minasana is upset because Pete was being guarded, but the defender didn't respect the fact that Pete will shoot it if he gives him an inch. He gave him an inch, and Pete knocked it down.
It's a 7-0 run by the Nittany Lions here. They lead at 19-8. Hawkins out front against Crispin. 15 to shoot. Willis lets it go, and Jared Stevens with a rebound. And you were right, Bruce, early. Not many second chances for Lehigh.
No, they have to make their shots, and that wasn't a good shot.
There's freshman to freshman, and Wachowski misses the shot. And he wanted to dunk. Great effort. Crispin with a good dish. And you got to like what these youngsters are doing here today.
Absolutely. They're getting quality time, and they're doing good things. They're playing with a lot of confidence. Here, Joe penetrates the defense, draws the help, shuffles it off to Big Scott. Didn't quite get the rub in there, but he'll get 2.
Now watch the reaction here. This guy is intense.
Well, you don't like to miss those dunks, because in the film session tomorrow, he'll hear about that one.
And he's got it. He used every part of the rim. Wachowski has scored 6 of the Nittany Lion 20 points. Make it 7. Wow, what a start for the big guy. And here's Calvin Booth to replace him, and the crowd will respond favorably to Wachowski.
And well, they should. Done a nice job. See if Lehigh can come up with a good shot here. They really need a good look at the basket, preferably by Eppheimer.
Steve Ellsworth in the game now for Lehigh, number 30. This is McGill will shoot over Stevens.
That's not a good shot there. They've got to get Eppheimer involved in the game. He's their main man offensively, and everybody else is shooting the ball but him.
Greg Gray is in for the Nittany Lions. Jared Stevens will score.
How about that move? Jarrett was double teamed with a triple team coming. Still was able to duck through and finish.
Eppheimer with a quick shot. They get it back. Eppheimer shoots again. And Booth will clear it.
He's got a nice touch, though. They're going to start dropping.
Penn State by 15. Stevens has been unstoppable inside. The youngster Gray shoots and he hits it.
3 points.
Greg Gray is quickly off the bench and quickly scoring. 26-8 Nittany Lions.
Didn't take him time to warm up, did it?
Well, I was going to say, he didn't have much of a sweat going at all.
He came off hot.
This is Ellsworth out front, sophomore from Malibu, California. Also played football at Lehigh. McGill smothered by Booth, and Booth squashed that one. Here's Grays on the run. He looks for Calvin trailing. Looks like he tried to throw that one up and either draw the foul or get it off the backboard to Calvin.
That was a good job there. He saw Eppheimer going for the ball and decided to take it into him. One thing you cannot do against Calvin Booth is shoot a turnaround jump shot.
Bruce Grays was kind of peeking behind him. He knew he had the big guy coming. And had Eppheimer not fouled him, he might have left that one high in the air for the foul.
Yeah.
Lasicki gets a breather. Titus Ivory is in. Jazzy Klein-Hurd is in now for the Nittany Lions. Here's Grays, and he misses. 26-8, the Nittany Lions leading it. Again, one of the big stories of the first half, Dan Earl leaving the game early with an apparent ankle or knee injury. Hopefully nothing serious. Ivory rebounds and scores.
Well, that's a cardinal sin that time. There's no way that if you're the defender on the foul line that you want to give up a rebound of that nature. That drives coaches crazy.
Approaching the halfway point of the first half. Nittany Lions leading it by 20. Eppheimer.
You got to shoot that. He's not getting much better look than that.
Eppheimer again in the corner. And that one was blocked by a host of
He shouldn't have shot that one.
Calvin Booth going after the ball. Covers it and calls timeout. So the crowd here at the Jordan Center enjoying the effort by the Nittany Lions, especially the youngsters off the bench. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+. Our timeout was only a 20-second timeout, so there was no break here at the Jordan Center. We'll pick things up. Calvin Booth with 3 blocks here early. Jerry Dunn has seen his team jump to a 28-8 lead. The Nittany Lions will have 4 freshmen, actually 5 freshmen on the floor here. 4 true freshmen and a redshirt freshman in Titus Ivory. And an illegal screen called on Penn State Scott Wachowski, his second foul. And now we'll have a break. You see the time remaining in the first half, 9:53. The Nittany Lions leading it by 20. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
America, here we go. Jock Jams, Volume 3. Jock Jams, Volume 3. I love it, baby. I love it. Jock Jams, Volume 3. I can't believe it. I mean, it's the best Jock Jams ever. Jock Jams, Volume 3 from ESPN and Tommy Boy Music. It's awesome, baby.
Ankle-breaking crossover dribble. Then drain the 3. Nothing but net.
sky-high one-hand tomahawk jam. Nothing but net. The dawn of the Larry Brown era.
All business, all fun.
Nothing but net. Exclusive home game action, plus highlights and in-depth coverage on Sports Night. Nothing but Comcast Sportsnet. 76ers basketball on Comcast Sportsnet. Get caught up.
Okay, boys, listen up. Time to get down to business. Last year we looked good, but this year we're going to look even better. We're going to hit harder, skate faster, and hold up better. Blood, sweat, and tears, it ain't going to bother us. And this year, fans are going to see us like never before on Comcast Sportsnet. Exclusive home game action, interviews, and commentary on Sports Night. We're going to get more exposure than ever. Remember, boys, if you look good, you feel good. And no one's going to look better than us.
Welcome back to the Jordan Center. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkhill with you. The Nittany Lions leading it by 20. Pete Lasicki there, a native of the Lehigh Valley, playing against Lehigh today. Penn State has had an outstanding start here shooting-wise in the first half. Lehigh has not. Lehigh only 2 of 16 from the floor here early.
Well, Penn State's trying to do a great job, and they are doing a great job on Eppenheimer. That time, Titus Ivory got nailed for a foul, holding him as he was getting ready to go off the screen. But so far, Penn State's done a nice job.
The Nittany Lions, 11 of 15 from the floor in the first half. Lehigh, as we mentioned, 2 of 16. This is Hess back into the game for Lehigh over to Aylesworth. Ellsworth, as we mentioned, played football for Lehigh last year as a wide receiver, and he gave up football to concentrate on basketball this year. Crispin, the freshman, logging a lot of minutes here in the first half. Hess shooting and missing. Rebound, Ivory.
Well, that's one of those shots we talked about at the beginning of the game that Lehigh just has to knock down.
Penn State, as we mentioned, with 4 true freshmen. Kidding core on the floor right now. 3 true freshmen, rather, and a redshirt freshman, Ivory. It's not as good by Booth. Calvin's first bucket of the half, and it's 30-8. Hess from the corner. And Booth will clear it. Lehigh now 2 of 18.
Yeah, the last 2 shots were good shots, though. I think that's what Sal wants you to see. Get them some good shots, even if they don't make them. At least they get confidence that they can get good shots against a team like Penn State. They can get good shots against the opposition in their league.
And a travel call against Lehigh through the delay.
Good look here by Joe Crispin. Jossie Klein-Hurd makes a real nice duck under move to the hoop. Great finish between 2 defenders.
Welcome back to the Jordan Center again as the Nittany Lions lead it 32-8. Penn State has been in control almost from the beginning. Here's Crispin on the move.
Frank, Penn State has 22 points in the paint. Lehigh only has 4. Remember, we talked about Penn State establishing an inside game in order to win this afternoon, and so far they're doing a great job of that.
Ellsworth will bring it up now for Lehigh. Lehigh 3-2 on the year. They have lost to Harvard and Penn. They lost to Penn earlier this week, but played Penn very well, losing 75-73 on Wednesday. And wins at Wagner against Yale and over Albright College in Reading. Tito Willie-Vero has his shot blocked again. Youngster who really is somewhat new to basketball. He's from Senegal. And he has his hands full with Calvin Booth today.
Well, he really does. And again, you can't try to shoot over Calvin. When you catch the ball inside against Calvin, you've got to go into him and hope that you can draw a foul. But if they continue to try to shoot over him, they're going to be really having a difficult time all afternoon.
So the Nittany Lions with a big lead at 32-8. 7:52 to play here in the first half. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
863-33.
Backed by popular demand, it's the original Miracle Eraser. This powerful paint, varnish, and rust stripper races through any job so fast you won't believe your eyes. See how it actually erases old paint as if it were chalk, wipes away old varnish as if it were dust, leaving the surface smooth as glass and ready to refinish. And Miracle Eraser makes short work of rust like this. The varnish on this wood must be 30 years old. On the left, ordinary sandpaper. On the right, Miracle Eraser. Just look at the incredible speed and ease. Miracle Eraser molds itself to the shape of fancy woodwork, easily stripping clean every corner and crevice. Don't throw that away. Imagine from this before to this after in just minutes with Miracle Eraser. From boats to bricks, tools to antiques, furniture, and more. Guaranteed to strip paint, varnish, and rust faster and easier than anything you've ever used, or your money back. Call toll-free now to get not 1 but 6 giant Miracle Erasers, now for only $14.95. Order Miracle Eraser now.
To err may be human, but to eat your whistle is a crime.
To Clark Gillis. Over to Goring. Centers to Sutter. Shoots. He scores!
And there was no question about that goal. It was offside.
Relive the most controversial non-call in Philadelphia Flyers history on Comcast Sportsnet Classics, Sunday at 8:30. Comcast Sportsnet Classics, brought to you by Philadelphia's classic hit station, 1029 MGK. Philadelphia sports the way you remember them.
Welcome back to Penn State's Bryce Jordan Center. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkfield with you this afternoon. And Bruce, Penn State has really controlled Brett Eppenheimer, and they've controlled Lehigh here early.
Well, Frank, they really have followed all the keys that we talked about early, and one of them is rebounding. They're out rebounding Lehigh 17-6. They're really dominating the game in just about every aspect.
You saw the numbers on shooting. Lehigh 2 of 19. Damon McGill has both of their field goals.
That's a problem. They've got to get Eppenheimer involved. Penn State's doing a good job on him, but a lot of Lehigh's shot opportunities have come from other guys.
Ball is loose, and Stevenson comes away with it to Lisicki. Pete started the whole ruckus with a steal a moment ago. This is Crispin on the drive. Flips the boot.
Real pretty dish off by Crispin, wasn't it?
Joe Crispin. Crispin has shown this year, much like Dan Earl, the ability to penetrate as well as shoot from the perimeter. Ellsworth with a miss. Lehigh with one of the few offensive rebounds of this half.
One down! Stretch that! No hand! No hand!
Eppenheimer from long range. And the Lions control the boards again. Here's a steal by Eppenheimer. Moves to trail it, and he lets it go. That's the first field goal for Eppenheimer. He has 4 points.
You know, one of the things that Sal Minnesota wants to see from his team is effort the whole game. No matter what the conditions are, no matter what the score is, he wants to see hustle and effort and intensity. Last year, when things got rough, sometimes the team got down. And so far this year, he said his team has not hung their heads, and he was really concerned today about if things didn't go well, still seeing that kind of effort that they're going to need to improve and win.
Bruce, Penn State is really having no problem getting the ball inside. That's not a real surprise.
No, it isn't. No, Lehigh doesn't have the personnel to really compete inside. They're trying to get the ball inside really more than the tapes I've seen so far, which I think is a good move, but they still have to involve their primary scorers.
Calvin Booth hobbling and wincing a little bit as well. He'll leave the game. Here's Booth defensively swatting the shot away.
Oh, he got his right foot caught on his left foot, turned it.
Greg Graves is in now for the Nittany Lions, a smaller Penn State lineup on the floor. Jarrett Stevens also back in. Delay shooting quickly.
And that was another good shot. They got a good look. Delay has a pretty nice touch. That's a good offensive set for Sal.
Jazzy Klein-Hurd had the rebound, and here's a steal by Hawkins.
But Lehigh has only had one field goal since the 15-22 mark in the first half. That's a long drought.
Penn State leading at 36-10. And there's Sal Minnesota, his second year. He has a very young team. He did a great job at East Stroudsburg.
He sure did.
His record there, 135 and 115. But prior to that, East Stroudsburg had been 23 and 111. So he really turned that program around.
And he'll turn Lehigh around, too. He's a real good recruiter. He's a good coach. And there's no question, Lehigh has a good athletic administration. Joe Sterrett's a great AD. They have terrific facilities, and it's a wonderful school. So Sal will get it done. They're just so young. They don't have any seniors on this team.
Sal is a native of Easton. Shot misses by Stevens, and Jossie Klein-Hurd with a rebound. Jossie with 4 points, and on the season, he's 5 of 6 from the floor, as he really has been an effective offensive rebounder and shooting at close range.
Good athlete, and it looks like he has a nose for the ball, just like Jared Stevens does.
38-10, Nittany Lions. As we mentioned, Penn State has really had no problem going inside consistently here today.
Well, that's what they had to do against a smart Lehigh team.
They only have 2 3-pointers here in the first half. Stevens. And a rebound by Stevens' son and a foul.
You know, in a game like this, Sal Menassana is just looking to win little battles. You know, get some good shots, maybe create a few turnovers, and make sure that his guys keep this game in perspective and understand that it's a great challenge. They're very, very young. They're not where they want to be yet personnel-wise. So come out and compete, and they'll be fine down the road.
One of the best dressed coaches in America.
He sure is. How about his wife, Beth, saw the outfit he picked out for today and said, "What are you going to look like you're in the Mafia?"
Lehigh shooting, and the shot by McGill misses. Lisicky on the run. They've had some good coaches at Lehigh over the years. Brian Hill, former Penn State assistant, now in the NBA, was there. Ivory missing. Stevenson to follow, and he scored.
Well, I was just going to say, it'd be nice to see Titus Ivory pick up where he left off out of Brigham Young, because he knocked down a couple of jump shots. It looked like he was really starting to play with confidence.
Hawkins will shoot, and that will be off. Here's Ivory with a rebound. Penn State leading it by 30. Inside, Stevens, one of his rare misses for the season. McGill to delay, and an offensive foul on delay. .327 remaining to play here in the half. Penn State leading it over Lehigh 40-10. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Ordinary guy, an extraordinary sportsman. The right gear, top-notch equipment, and a rock-solid understanding of what you're doing out there. That's why you need Outdoor Life, to guide you along every step of the way. For under $1 an issue, we'll prepare you to become the extraordinary sportsman you know you can be. As we reveal answers to the whats, whys, wheres, and how-tos of angling, so you can become the true fisherman you want to be. If hunting is your game, let Outdoor Life awaken your instincts for tracking whitetails, muleys, and elk. You'll even learn what it takes to nail that elusive tom. With Outdoor Life, you'll know what's new in gear and equipment, what's happening in your area, plus everything from the care of your rifle to choosing the right 4x4. Call now and you'll also get this rugged Outdoor Life gear bag, free with your paid subscription. Don't wait. Call now to take advantage of this great offer from Outdoor Life. Become an extraordinary sportsman. Call for Outdoor Life now.
Don't miss the Sixers pull a win out of the Magic's hat when they take on the Orlando Magic. Live from Orlando, Monday at 7:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Sixers Magic on Comcast Sportsnet, your sports network.
Relive Philadelphia's championship tradition on Comcast Sportsnet Classics, where unforgettable teams and players rise in triumph and shine in defeat. Comcast Sportsnet Classics. Philadelphia sports the way you remember them.
Welcome back to the Jordan Center. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkhill with you. The Nittany Lions leading at 40-10, and the ankle you see being wrapped is that of Calvin Booth. Oh, he a very long, big toe. Look at that thing.
I tell you, it takes about 2 rolls of tape to wrap that foot, buddy.
Calvin, one of the top shot blockers in the Big Ten and in the country. He's been you see the career numbers at Penn State. He's led the Big Ten in block shots the last 2 years.
You know, one of the things that you don't want to get out of a game like this is guys hurt. If you're Penn State, you want to get some young guys experience, which they're accomplishing. You want to get the team some confidence, get a lot of guys a lot of minutes, work on some things. But you just don't want to come away with some key guys hurt. So hopefully Calvin will be okay. It looks like he's putting his big boat back on. be ready to get out here and dunk a few in a minute.
Utah leading Wake Forest in the first half. Dan Earl was injured earlier for Penn State, and as you mentioned, it's the one thing that's gone wrong here today, a couple of little nagging injuries, and we hope Dan Earl's injury is not serious. He went to the training room and has not returned. Lasicky hits the free throw. Pete now with 6 points in the game.
Yeah, given the fact that it looked like it was Danny's knee, they may want to give a more extensive examination to that as opposed to if it was his ankle that he turned.
How much is that on Jerry Dunn's mind right now? Obviously, you're watching the game, you're coaching the game, but you're sitting there kind of in a fog, really, aren't you? Worried about what's going on back there behind the curtains.
You're darn right it is. It's weighing very heavily.
Here you go. Watch the stagger screens.
Penn State leading at 42-10. Lehigh trying to score inside, missing.
Well, there's another one of those makeable shots that Lehigh just hasn't been able to knock down so far in the game.
No hands, no hands. Got it, you got it.
23 to shoot for Lehigh. Aylesworth trying to drive, and he is fouled. It's been a very good defensive first half for the Lions. For the most part, foul-free.
Well, it has, Frank. And one of the reasons that Lehigh is struggling right now, and one of the reasons the deficit is so large, is that Lehigh is an up-tempo, quick-hit team. That's the way Sal wants to play. They could be more patient and stay closer in terms of the score. But in the future, Sal wants to play the style, so he's committed. And even though they don't have the personnel from top to bottom yet to play the style of play he wants to play, he's committed to it. And when he has another couple of recruiting years, they'll have guys who can play the style, and they'll be much more adept at pressing and getting some quick baskets.
The foul was actually on Ferguson of Lehigh, and Jarrett Stevens nails both free throws. So Jarrett now with 10 points in the first half. Calvin Booth returns. That's a good sign. 44-10, the Lions leading. For Lehigh, number 21, Kyle Gloff is into the game now. Youngster from Pittsburgh, played at Upper St. Clair. Also in is Ed Laquille, 6'5" freshman from the Bronx, number 14.
That time, Ellsworth had the screener on the rollback. It's the
shot by Glock is blocked by Booth. Penn State's ball. To get inside the huddle of your favorite Big Ten team, go online at www.big10.org for all the basketball and conference news from around the Big Ten.
Nice job that time by Titus Ivory to penetrate the trap and dish the ball off to Graves. Penn State's using real good judgment against Lehigh's trap.
Lasicky from out front nails the three. His second three of the game. Well, we've gotten some word on the status of Dan Earl. Shot is good out of the corner by Hess. He has a three. The official word on Danny Earl is a sprained knee, and he will not return today.
Well, let's hope he can get himself ready for Monday night's game.
Penn State leading it big, 47-13. Ivory in traffic, no problem.
That time Lehigh did a good job of trapping down on the post, but the weak side didn't rotate to pick off the dump-off pass. Got to finish your defense.
And Booth with his 7th block of the game. Wow. Here's Stevens the other way.
One of the things that Lehigh has not had is floor balance in their offense, and there have been several opportunities for Penn State to just kick it out ahead off a rebound and get an easy scoring opportunity. Always have to have somebody back. But that's a sign of a young team.
Lehigh will be glad to see this first half end, 51-13. Stevens to Graves. Graves had that one tipped. Lasicky comes away with it. Pete says, hey, I'll shoot it. It's a little close for me. I usually don't shoot from this close to the basket, but what the heck.
As long as he can see the basket, he can score.
Pete with 12 first half points. And he's gotten them rather quietly here today. Turnover again, but Lehigh gets it back. On the drive, the shot is good by Ferguson. Ferguson.
Ferguson scores.
Final seconds of the half. Penn State with a big lead. And Grays gets it off in time. And Stevens with a tip, and it goes. Well, that's the exclamation point to this half. As Jared Stevens scores his 14th point. Getting a hug from Calvin Booth, and Penn State leads it by 40. Booth with 7 blocks. So the Nittany Lions with a big lead here at halftime. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Hi, I'm Ron Burke. Monday on Sports Rise, Giants and Eagles, the battle for first. We'll recap the rumble for NFC East supremacy. In fact, we'll make it a New York double. The Knicks are in town taking on the Sixers. Playoff implications in the NFL, we'll check that out. As well as, would Randall scramble and lead the Vikings to a win in Frisco? All those stories, plus Burke's Best, on Sports Rise, your source for early morning sports, Monday from 6 to 10 a.m.
Let's go! Drop the puck, you bum! Drop the puck! Let's go, Phantom! Let's go, baby! Let the big dog eat! Let the big dog eat? Let's go, Phantom! Here we go! Come on, baby! If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands! Clap your hands!
Catch Philadelphia's fiercest hockey talent before they learn to fly on Comcast Sportsnet, home of the most intense Phantoms coverage anywhere. Phantoms hockey on Comcast Sportsnet. Minor league action with a major league feel.
Let the big dog eat. Great line. What does that mean anyway? Look, you were screaming just as loud as I was. Clap your hands. We were out there and in here. It was your idea. Let's see, you're going. I knew what you did.
Phantoms hockey on Comcast Sportsnet. Minor league action with a major league feel.
All right, Comcast. Woo! Come on, baby. Let the big dog eat.
Halftime at the Bryce Jordan Center. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkhill with you, and the Penn State Nittany Lions with a big lead over Lehigh. And Bruce, that's certainly not unexpected. It's been a tough first half for the Mountain Hawks.
Well, it really has, Frank, and if you consider the keys to the game that we talked about leading into the game, Penn State has accomplished every single one of theirs, and Lehigh has not accomplished any of theirs.
A big concern for Jerry Dunn would be the physical status of Dan Earl. He went down early. A sprained knee has been the official word. He won't play again today. How serious might that be? Is it hard to say?
It really is hard to say. It really depends on the severity of the sprain. It could be something where he's back in a couple days, or it could be longer than that.
So that's a big concern for Jerry Dunn. It's been a great start for Big Ten basketball thus far this year. Let's take a look at some of the individuals that have been red hot thus far in college basketball representing their schools throughout the Big Ten. And Purdue has played an outstanding schedule early. They have some great inside people, Bruce. One is Brad Miller.
Well, you know, I thought Brad Miller was a little bit of a disappointment last year because I thought he was a terrific prospect. This year it looks like he's really reaching his potential and doing a great job for the Boilers.
He had 29 points against North Carolina. How about Illinois at guard? Matt Heltman has been hitting from long range through the first part of the year.
He's absolutely on fire, and you know he can shoot it from real deep.
There's a great young talent in Iowa, Ricky Davis, tremendous athlete.
He's going to be exciting for Big Ten fans this year. That's no question about it. He's for real.
Ryan Bowen, Evan Eschmeyer, maybe one of the more underrated players in the entire country, is off to a great start for Northwestern, as is Sean Wink. So there's some exciting players thus far. And how about these guys' numbers? Michael Redd from Ohio State and Jared Stevens, who has been putting on a show again here today for the Nittany Lions. He's in double figures with 14 points.
Well, Jared's certainly living up to the billing that we gave him leading into the game, isn't he?
Now, Stevens has had just a phenomenal start for the Nittany Lions thus far. And again, when you look at some of the individuals throughout the Big Ten, there are a lot of players, and some of those players will be here in the Jordan Center later this year.
I think it's really going to be an exciting year, Frank, and I think the league will be, I look at Iowa and maybe Indiana and obviously Purdue as teams going into the year a little bit ahead, but I'll tell you, I think the league's going to be wide open, especially in that middle. It really is going to be an interesting race, and I think the Nittany Lions can be right in the hunt.
And the Nittany Lions have played very well here in the first half today. They lead at 55-15. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Jack Nicklaus's personal technique that helps straighten slices.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Dave Peltz's revolutionary technique that has top pros putting better. Let Golf Magazine show you how to shoot lower, play better, or you don't pay. That's the Golf Magazine guarantee. Call now for your free issue of Golf Magazine. If you decide to subscribe, get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for just $17.97. Plus, get your free Golf Magazine umbrella. Call now.
Hi, I'm Michael Barkan. Coming up on the next Daily News Live, all the fallout from the Eagles-Giants clash for the lead in the NFC East. We'll rehash the key plays, look at the numbers, and see just where the Birds' playoff chances sit. We'll put the wraps on a busy sports weekend and look forward to an exciting sports week ahead. The King, Bill Conlon, The Mark, Marcus Hayes, and Damo, Paul Domowitch, lead a star-studded cast on the next Daily News Live.
Ankle-breaking crossover dribble, then drain the three. Nothing but net. Sky-high one-hand tomahawk jam. Nothing but net. The dawn of the Larry Brown era.
All business, all fun.
Nothing but net. Exclusive home game action, plus highlights and in-depth coverage on Sports Night. Nothing but Comcast Sportsnet. 76ers basketball on Comcast Sportsnet. Get caught up.
Get the most comprehensive recap of the night's news, highlights, analysis, features, and much more on Toyota Sports Night. Neil Hartman, Leslie Goodell, Michael Barkan, Pat Boyle, Derek Gunn, Pete Christie, and Dee Lynham bring you everything you need to know about your home teams. If it's Philadelphia sports you want, then it's Toyota Sports Night you need. Toyota Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet, your sports network. Sunday at 6, the Sixers give the Knicks their day in court when they take the stand against the New York Knicks on Comcast Sportsnet. Sixers-Knicks on Comcast Sportsnet, your sports network.
If it's inside information on the Eagles you want, he's your coach. Catch Coach Ray Rhodes with his no-holds-barred comments during his weekly press conference on Crossroads, Tuesday night at 7:30.
Welcome back to the Jordan Center. One of the world's largest telescopes received some much-needed help from a group of Penn State students. The team got the educational experience of a lifetime when they built a data-gathering device for the Hobby Eberly.
There's some things you just can't learn from sitting in a classroom or reading a book. Sometimes you really need to experiment for yourself, and this really gave me an opportunity to do that.
The device is helping the Hobby Eberly telescope collect and analyze light from galaxies, stars, and other astronomical objects. The information gathered will help scientists better understand the universe.
Involving students in the development of the instrumental devices for a telescope like the Hobby Eberly is a major way we use to train the students. You know, they learn from the engineers and from the scientists involved and learn how to do real things.
Actually, I knew that they did research here as undergraduates, but I didn't know that I would actually build a fairly important instrument for like the biggest telescope in the world when it's finished.
The students' data gathering device will remain in the Hobby Eberly for about 2 years until more permanent equipment is installed. A Penn State professor has written a new book that says America's fascination with toys is much more than child's play.
The toys are really as much about parents as they are about children, and they are about the relationships that we have with our children.
In his new book, Kid Stuff, Cross explores the changing role of toys throughout the century and addresses the anxieties of the adults who purchase them. Kid Stuff is published by Harvard Press and is available in bookstores. And finally, U.S. News and World Report recently ranked Penn State among America's most efficient universities. The magazine ranked Penn State 4th among national universities that deliver a high-quality education at a relatively low cost. Penn State moved up 5 notches from 1996. That's it for this edition of Time Out Penn State. You can find out more about these stories and other Penn State news on our website. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Penn State, an efficient university, and the Nittany Lions have been an efficient basketball team. Here in the first half, they lead it big. Jarrett Stevens has 14, Pete Lasicki has 12. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
News on the march. This edition brings viewers to the hallowed halls of the Comcast Sportsnet studios, where every weekday from 5 to 6:30, the erstwhile Michael Barkan and a host of beat writers and columnists bring the nation's greatest sports section to life on the Daily News Live.
If we're going to meander our way to the end of the season, I would like to find that out this year.
Who says you're meandering? You don't know what's going to happen next week.
Wait a second,
or the week after
my
that.
man here told me.
It doesn't get any better than that. Viewers everywhere can rest easy, knowing that the Daily News can be delivered to their living room without any damage to their front window. The Daily News Live on Comcast Sportsnet, the sports lane on the information superhighway. Before Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet, games were shrouded in mystery. Once regulation time expired, the hows and whys of the playbooks were kept in the dark, out of reach of the everyday viewer. Now, thanks to Sports Night, the dark ages of Philadelphia sports television are over. Neil Hartman, Leslie Goodell, Michael Barkan, Derek Gunn, Pat Boyle, and Dee Lynham solve the whodunits and who-said-its, involving everyone from the local colleges and minor leagues to the Flyers, Sixers, Eagles, Phillies, and other national sports action. Live analysis, interviews, commentaries, and highlights 7 days a week. Means that if you didn't see it on Sports Night, it didn't happen. Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet. It's what you want to watch.
Welcome back to the Bryce Jordan Center. The Penn State Nittany Lions with a very commanding lead over the Lehigh Mountain Hawks here in the first half. This is a very big athletic weekend here on the Penn State campus, and tonight the NCAA Women's Volleyball Tournament continues here on University Park in Rec Hall. And we have with us the head coach of the #1 seed in this year's NCAA Tournament, the head coach of Penn State, Russ Rose. And Russ, tonight you guys get into action. You play Northern Illinois, who had a win over Villanova last night. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, we had a chance to watch them play last night, and it went to 16-14 in the fifth, Frank, so we didn't even know who we were playing until the last couple of minutes. So, you know, I would think that our players are pretty excited about having a chance to get the season started at home in the postseason, so I think they're pretty excited.
You've had a marvelous year, only one loss. You're the #1 seed in the tournament, but now you're in postseason play. Is everyone excited? They nervous? How much pressure is there?
Well, I think, you know, the players are excited, and I would anticipate at the beginning that we'd show some nerves in the match, but I would think once we get into our flow of the game, you know, we're a solid team. We've got good leadership on the floor, and I would think the players would be able to get through some of their nerves at the beginning and start taking care of things out there on the floor.
It's been an outstanding year for Penn State's Bonnie Bremner, the Big Ten Player of the Year, and she's one of many cogs in your offense that has helped you go.
Yeah, I mean, Bonnie's had a great season, and, you know, it's, you know, the fact that she was fortunate enough to be recognized as the Big Ten Player of the Year, I think is just a kind of a reflection of the talent that we have around her. We've got good passing, and, you know, when you have good passing and you have a good setter, and we're very strong in the middle with Terry Zamaitis and Lauren Cacciamani. So I think when you put that out there on the floor, we're pretty competitive, and, you know, we're tough for people to defend most of the time.
The Penn State women's volleyball team in action tonight at 7:30 in Rec Hall, taking on Northern Illinois in a second-round NCAA match. Russ, good luck. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
Hi, Chuck. How's business?
Okay.
Hey, what's on your screen?
QuickBooks accounting software from the makers of Quicken.
Yeah, I really don't have time to learn new software.
If you can write a check, you can use QuickBooks. Answer a few questions and it tailors itself to your business. Create invoices like these. It has accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll, and inventory, and over 60 customizable reports that put you in control.
I'm going to try it.
Nothing to lose.
1-800-216-5511.
Get the most comprehensive recap of the night's news, highlights, analysis, features, and much more on Toyota Sports Night. Toyota Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet. your sports network. Don't miss the Sixers pull a win out of the Magic's hat when they take on the Orlando Magic. Live from Orlando, Monday at 7:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Sixers Magic on Comcast Sportsnet, your sports network.
Let's go! Drop the puck, you bum! Drop the puck! Let's go, Fano! Let's go, baby! Let the big dog eat! Let the big dog eat? Let's go, Fano! There we go! Come on, baby, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands! Clap your hands!
Catch Philadelphia's fiercest hockey talent before they learn to fly on Comcast Sportsnet, home of the most intense Phantoms coverage anywhere. Phantoms hockey on Comcast Sportsnet. Minor league action with a major league feel.
Let the big dog eat. Great line. What does that mean anyway? Look, you were screaming just as loud as I was. Clap your hands. We were out there and in here. If it wasn't for your idea. Let's see, you're going. I knew what you were doing.
Phantoms hockey on Comcast Sportsnet. Minor league action with a major league feel.
All right, Comcast. Woo! Come on, baby. Let the big dog eat.
Welcome back to the Jordan Center. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkhill with you, where the Nittany Lions lead it by 40. One of the big stories of the first half, early in the half, Penn State senior point guard Dan Earl suffering a knee injury right here.
Well, Frank, he turns the corner here. It looks like he twists his knee a little bit. He goes down. The diagnosis is a sprained knee. Now it's a matter of time to see the extent of the damage and if there's any swelling and how long that takes to go down, and hopefully it'll be just a day-to-day thing.
He will not return today. Penn State, you see the numbers in the first half. The field goal percentage tells it all. Penn State inside, getting the ball inside, shooting very well. Lehigh really struggling. 5 of 33 from the floor.
Well, here are the keys that we talked about going into the game. Lehigh has not hit the open shots that they've gotten. They haven't gotten too many easy shots. Penn State is killing them on the boards, and certainly they have not forced too many turnovers. They look at Penn State's perspective. They did a nice job against the press, didn't cough the ball up too much, really established an inside game, dominated the boards, and their transition defense was very good, and therefore did not give Lehigh very many open looks.
9 different players scored for Penn State in the first half. Back to action here in the second half. Vito Willibero with a shot inside, missing, battling for it. Calvin Booth comes away with it.
Well, Lehigh is going right back inside, and people may question that and say, well, why are they going inside when they didn't have success in the first half? But as I mentioned before, Sal Minnesota is not just looking at this game. He's looking at habits that this team can establish to have success when they get into the Patriot League. And that's a good move, to try to establish an inside game no matter who you're playing, and especially when they get into their own league.
Booth battling for the loose ball, picks up a foul. Booth, Stevens, Crispin, Lasicki, and Greg Stevenson on the floor for the Nittany Lions. Eppheimer, McGill, Hawkins, Willibero, and Hess are out there for Lehigh. This is Hess, number 10, out to Hawkins. Working on Crispin. Eppheimer didn't have any chances the first half.
No, he was 1 for 8, and that was a pretty good look that time. And, you know, from Lehigh's perspective, you'd really like to see him get off a little bit and get something going so that he can get his confidence back, because he really is a terrific player.
The jumper by Booth, and Hawkins comes away with a 3-on-2.
They gave it up too soon that time, and it was a tough shot for Hess. Hawkins should have held it on for one more dribble to draw the defense and then given the ball up to Hess.
Lasicki brings it down to Stevenson, into Stevens, who has been unstoppable at point-blank range today.
Well, that's one of those easy shots that we talked about as one of the keys. Lehigh has to bear down and make it tougher for Penn State to score.
Stevenson has 16. Calvin Booth, by the way, with 7 blocks today in the first half. This is Hawkins against Lasicki. Over to Eppheimer. Almost lost that one into the backcourt. Not much time to shoot. And he takes it himself. Boy, he's had just a tough day.
Yeah, he sure has. That was a real nice move. He got himself a good look at the basket.
Lasicki can't find it, and here comes Willibero with a rebound. Lehigh will continue, as Bruce, as you mentioned, try to do the things they do best and that will serve them well as the year goes on.
Yeah, they can get a whole lot out of this second half, Frank. They really can. But, you know, if Sal's guys hit some shots, maybe create a few turnovers, and leave the game feeling better about what they accomplished in the second half, then this can be a positive experience for them.
But Eppheimer nailed that one from deep in the corner, has 7 points a moment ago. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, he averages almost 27 a game. Booth with a miss, and Eppheimer had 23 points in 37 minutes against Penn earlier this week.
He's a player, he really is.
Hess with a miss, but Lehigh gets it back.
I see, with an experienced team, guys are going to work the ball and try to find Eppheimer, see if they can get him a hot hand. But Lehigh is real young, so sometimes they take ill-advised shots.
Eppheimer in traffic, and Booth picked it away. Crispin on the run, the freshman from New Jersey.
That's just too easy. That really, they allowed penetration to go way too deep, and Joe pulled up with an easy bank shot.
That's his first bucket of the game. He had a free throw earlier. Olivero's shot misses, and Booth with a rebound. 59-18, Nittany Lions. Crispin, he's got it. 3 points. Crispin now with 6 points, hitting his first 3 of the game. And a lot of playing time today for the freshman from Pittman, New Jersey, with the injury to Danny Earl.
Nice feed into the post by Hawkins. But again, you can't shoot turnaround jump shots against Calvin Booth.
It was McGill who had his shot blocked. McGill played on a great high school team here in Pennsylvania a couple of years ago at Shadyside Academy. They won the state championship. Pete Sauer, who's playing at Stanford, was on that team.
Lehigh still struggling with defensive floor balance out of their offense. Somebody's got to be back.
And Hess is fouled by Crispin. So the Nittany Lions with a big lead here with 15:31 to play, leading at 62-18. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN's Lux.
Four hours of football down the drain.
It's nothing to watch now.
Wait a minute. What's all this lying around stuff?
What are we supposed to do?
What happened to the Comcast Sportsnet staff I used to know?
Game's over, man.
Game's over? Was it over when the Cowboys fumbled in a miracle at the Meadowlands?
Cowboys?
Let him go, he's on a roll.
We have the greatest opportunity of our lives. We can provide Eagle fans with the most intense post-game coverage ever. And all you guys want to do is just sit around and lie around. You say, no, Neil, we might get in trouble. Well, not me. The minute all these games are done, I'm going to provide interviews, live, post-game analysis and commentary, live.
Neil's right. This calls for an incredibly sharp, intelligent effort on somebody's part, and we're just the channel to do it.
Are you guys with me? Let's do it!
Post-game live on Comcast Sportsnet, where the only thing better than watching Eagles football is talking Eagles football. If it's inside information on the Eagles you want, he's your coach. Catch Coach Ray Rhodes with his no-holds-barred comments during his weekly press conference on Crossroads, Tuesday night at 7:30.
Welcome back to the Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State University, where Penn State is all over Lehigh. And Calvin Booth is a factor in every game he plays, especially at the defensive end. Here he swats one away, which ignites a fast break. Joe Crispin is a benefactor. He's going to get a nice little bank shot off the transition opportunity. It all started with the big fella's block shot down at the other end.
Calvin with 9 blocks, and you see that he ties his own record. 10 rebounds and 1 assist for the big guy today, too. He's replaced now by Scott Wachowski, who had a very good first half.
One down, one down, one down.
Yeah, Jerry Dunn has to really be happy with the quality of play he's getting from his bench today. And in fact, all year thus far. Really getting good production from the guys coming off the pines. Nice high-low action by Lehigh that time. Real good execution. That's exactly what Sal Minnesota wants to get out of this game. Execute, get some opportunities. If they score, great. If they don't, they're still doing what they need to do down the road.
Wachowski picks up the personal foul. That'll be his third.
Hold your spot. Play. 1.
He is not shy inside, Bruce. He will bang and bump.
Well, you like to see that from a big guy. A lot of times big guys are rather passive as freshmen, and they need to learn how to be aggressive. You'd rather have a guy who's maybe even overly aggressive.
And he's just picked up his fourth. And you tend to learn how to play that way without fouling as you gain a little more experience.
That's exactly right. And if you're Jerry Dunn, you really don't want to see him pick up his fourth foul, because he'd like to give Calvin a little bit of time on the bench since he turned his ankle in the first half. And if you're Sal Minnesota, you really don't want to see him pick up his fourth foul, because that means Calvin's back in the game swatting shots.
You'd like to see Calvin spend a little more time on the bench as well. And Calvin with a rebound. Calvin probably wouldn't mind a little time on the bench either.
I don't know. I think he'd like to get a couple of dunks if he could.
Here's Crispin out to Lisicki.
Nice curl cut by Greg Stevens. Good idea, just wasn't there. But he was going to make the dump-off pass when he drew the screener's defender. Boy, good inside position that time by Lehigh. Terrific entry pass, terrific finish.
6 points for Damian McGill now, the leading scorer for Lehigh here.
Another good job against the press. Lehigh really hasn't had a chance to put on their full-court press because they haven't scored that much today. But the times they have, Penn State has done a nice job of handling it.
Crispin countering, and it's 64-20. Sal Minnesota seeing his team scrap and claw hard here today. They just are outsized and outmanned.
Well, they are, and they will not give up. Sal won't let them give up. Sal's a really good coach, and he's a fiery competitor, and he will not tolerate his players giving up. Good pass.
Olivero with a shot.
Nice job. Good execution.
Fido Olivero with his first bucket of the game. 64-22 the score. It's been all Penn State here today. The Nittany Lions with this win will improve to 5-0 on the year. George Mason is here Monday at 7:30. Greg Stevenson in traffic. Garrett Stevens basically doing about whatever he wants to inside.
And that's his game. He is a great offensive rebounder.
And here's a steal. Look out.
I'll tell you, right there, Willie Biro showed some class. He could have gone after Jarrett. Instead, he laid off so nobody got hurt.
Yeah, that's one of the things you're thinking is, boy, you hope there's not a collision here and he gets hurt. And he let him go. Stevens with 20 points now in the game, and Eppheimer hits his second three of the half. He now has 10.
It's good to see him knock that shot down. He's a great player, and it's a shame that folks haven't really gotten to see what he can do this afternoon. But credit Penn State's defense for that.
Crispin all alone.
3 points, Crispin.
Crispin, like Pete Lisicki, if he gets a little bit of room, he can really burn you.
Well, right now, Lehigh's trading baskets with Penn State. They're doing a little bit better job on offense, but they need to make some stops if they're going to gain any kind of momentum. They're getting some good shots now. They're playing much better at the offensive end, and they need to tighten up the defense.
McGill with a bucket, his 8 points, 71-27. And Eppheimer trying to come away with a steal, and it'll be...
Now they got a jump ball, and that was a good trap. Good job with their rotation into the trap. Joe Crispin got the ball down in the short corner. Really didn't have anywhere to go with it.
Penn State's possession. Crispin leads to a nice ovation. Greg Graves replaces it. Crispin here in the second half with 10 points. 11 for the game.
That's a good look by Calvin. Your primary looks against the press are over the top and into the middle to attack it. Lehigh took away the outlet pass that time. Calvin read that, hit the middle, and they had a nice break opportunity.
So it's been all Nittany Lions here today. They have the ball 71-27. Penn State leading it. Greg Graves out to Stevenson. Lisicki wide open.
Money in the bank.
Pete has 14. Stevens leads Penn State with 20. Lisicki now with 14. Crispin with 11. Again, they're starting to get balance in the scoring. Eppheimer. And Jarrett will clear it away to Lisicki.
Nice pass. Kelvin had good position that time. He didn't need to put the ball on the floor. He just should have taken it strong with his left hand and finished the shot.
Darren Hess scoring for the Mountain Hawks at 73-29. Hess is a member of the Lehigh touring choir as well, and he has to get back tomorrow for their Christmas concert.
He's got a full plate. Outstanding young man.
Inside, Talon Booth. He has 6 points, and Penn State leads at 75-29. And Pete Lisicki, I believe, is going to pick up the foul. And the foul will be on Lisicki. Timeout with Penn State leading at 75-29. You're watching Big Ten basketball from ESPN+.
The sensation of the speed the first time that anybody does this can take your breath.
The King, Richard Petty, on the Richard Petty Driving Experience.
First time out, you better let off right past the start-finish line and get that thing aimed to get in the corner, because most people have never experienced the transition of going from a flat surface into a bank.
It's motorsports competition with you at the wheel. The Richard Petty Driving Experience. For more information, call 1-800-BE-PETTY.
It's enough to take your breath away.
Okay, boys, listen up. Time to get down to business. Last year we looked good, but this year we're going to look even better. We're going to hit harder, skate faster, and hold up better. Blood, sweat, and tears, it ain't going to bother us. And this year fans are going to see us like never before on Comcast Sportsnet. Exclusive home game action, interviews, and commentary on Sports Night. We're going to get more exposure than ever. Remember, boys, if you look good, you feel good. And no one's going to look better than us.
Since coming to Philadelphia, Irving Fryer has come up with more great plays than Neil Simon. Now, he's taking his act to a different stage when he joins Angelo Cataldi and John Spagnola on Angelo and Irving. Hear insight, answers, and commentary about the birds from one of the wearers of the wing himself. Angelo and Irving on Comcast Sportsnet. Only a taxidermist has more inside stuff on the Eagles.
Welcome back to the Jordan Center. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkhill with you. The Nittany Lions with a big lead over Lehigh here. And Bruce, Jarrett Stevens has been very active.
Well, let's watch Jarrett do his thing here. He's setting some screens, and he's got a big body. He's an effective screener. But now when the shot goes up, he's knifing in there to get good position and get the stick back. That's his game. He's got a nose for the ball. He's very active. He makes good things happen.
20 points for Stevens. You see the field goal numbers. Actually 9 for 14. Just another day at the plant for him. He's missed 5 shots. That's about his quota.
Yeah, he's having a terrific year.
Hawkins short with that one. Tim McGovern, a walk-on from New Jersey, is in the game now for the Nittany Lions, number 20. Possession arrow will be Lehigh.
There's Carl Jackson. Nice to see him back in the lineup. He's had a rough fall. Injuries. Jackson trying to overcome some injury problems. Yep. Big, strong body that Penn State's going to need once they get into 10 play.
Titus Ivory is also in, along with Jazzy Klein-Hurd. Timmy McGovern, the walk-on who's in at point guard, from the same hometown in high school as Danny Earl. Again, if you've just joined us, Danny was hurt earlier today with a sprained knee. We certainly hope it's nothing serious. Here's Graves launching the long one. He's got it.
Wide open opportunity. Lehigh's got to extend their defense on the shooters. They've been giving Penn State too many open jump shots all afternoon. Penn State used real good patience that time.
Look at the quickness of Graves.
Well, that play was set up by Klein-Hurd's hands. Good ball pressure. Got a deflection. Results in a couple foul shot opportunities for Graves. There's defensively. Here Klein-Hurd gets the deflection, kicks it out ahead, and it's off to the races. Graves decides to take it himself, draws a foul. Look for him to knock 2 down here. He's got a nice touch.
Bryce has, you see on the graphic, 6 points.